everyone, to season 6, episode 5 of the Not in Hall of Fame show, the official program of notinhalloffame.com. And I'm Kirk Buchner along with Evan, Nolan, and we run this shiznit. We talk about all things Hall of Fame related. We talk about the United States Athletics Hall of Fame. Look for big news on that pretty soon, right, buddy?
Mm-hmm. Hopefully. We're just waiting for some ballots to come back in, but we have the first ones coming in. We'll have nominees added to our nominee list from last year soon enough. So
absolutely. And it's kind of weird because when we first started doing this, we would do a show every week, whether there was stuff to talk about or not. Mm-hmm. And we realized, why are we doing that?
Why are we doing this? Exactly. We both have lives.
Yes. You being more successful professionally and with the kids. I have 2 dogs who, that's all I got.
I have a wife. I got one. He's right over to my right here, taking up half the floor. He's 93 pounds now. So, which is your 2 dogs added up times 4, probably
times 3. But yes, yeah. But yeah, so something to that effect. So we've got It's kind of funny. We actually did sort of minor prep. Look at us.
I know, weird.
And in the last 15 days or whatever,
it's been a couple of weeks. We've been busy with other stuff, so it's been a couple of weeks.
Right. So even if there was no Hall of Fame related news, we have to sort of reference Evan's section where he covers a lot of people who passed away. And my God, have we got some major names? And it's really sad, but that's how it is. That's how it was. That's how it's always going to be. And let's just have something a little bit fun. How about that?
Yeah, well, we'll get there. Why don't we start with the Hall of Fame news that we have?
Yeah. Should we start off with 4 new WWE names, or should we break them up a bit?
You're the wrestling guy. You decide however you would like to do it.
All right. All right. So we'll do the wrestling guys who just got in. Were inducted into the 2025 class, and then we'll do the what do we say? The music people first, and then the non.
Yeah, let's do music people first because we have a huge name from just pop culture in general, and there's a question I want to ask at the end about it. So,
all right, sounds good. All right, so 4 names, and we could have talked about a couple of them before. I just didn't think to bother with that, but I think I will now. So there's 4 names who have entered the or named. I don't know if there's going to be more. Technically 5, actually. 4 because one's a tag team. And you're a moderate wrestling fan.
Sure.
That fair to say? If that, I don't even know.
Yeah, I mean, I was somewhat involved with the 80s, and then of course, as anyone who knows, I went to high school with former WWE heavyweight champion Kofi Kingston. Yep. So I'll pay attention to what's going on with Kofi, and that's about it.
Well, if we do the section of that I mentioned before, he will be sort of relevant to that.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah. So either way, we got 4 names at this point. The first one announced Triple H.
I mean, it's hard to argue, and at the same time seems kind of weird just because of his position within the company. But it's very hard to argue Triple H just belongs.
Yes, and technically he's already in it as a member of D-Generation X.
Oh, that's right.
Because of who he is and because of his power there, it's not like he was ever going to push for his own induction.
Right.
Theoretically, he's the one who decides this. So what they had to do is they had one of their press conferences, and then Nick Khan, who is, I forget his actual position, but he's high up there, along with Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker, sort of blindsided him and saying, you're going in as a single. And it can't be argued. I don't know how many titles he held. I could have looked it up before, right? Either way, it's a lot.
It doesn't matter. Triple H is, by even the standards of the WWE Hall of Fame, he's by every measure a WWE Hall of Famer, regardless of his position at the moment.
Yes. So that will not change our WWE list because he's already in, technically.
Got it.
So there was 3 others who got in. One I'm very happy for. The other 2, one is and the other one is half an I'll get there.
Okay.
Yeah. The second one is The Undertaker's wife, Michelle McCool.
Okay.
Are you familiar with her?
Not particularly.
Okay. So not at all.
I mean, I have seen her before, but I don't know anything else about her.
Yeah, she was an interesting person in that era in between, sort of like moving away from the bra and panties matches to what we have now. Decent athlete, multi-time champion. Based on how women are getting inducted there, I don't have a problem with it, but I don't give a shit one way or the other.
Fair enough.
After that, it was a tag team, and I thought it was going to be Demolition. Who you
probably I mean, come
remember.
On. I actually was in a skit once where I had to play Demolition. So
please, I didn't know this. Go.
Yeah, it was at summer camp. We had several ones. At one point, originally I was one of the Killer Bees. We're going up against the Bushwhackers.
Okay.
And then the next year we did Demolition against, I can't remember who it was. It wasn't the Bushwhackers anymore. But whatever side I was on, we lost because the other guys were bigger than us. Yeah. Well, we lost this Demolition. I can't remember who we lost to. We definitely got creamed as a Bushwhacker or as the Killer Bees by the Bushwhackers.
To be fair, a lot of teams lost to Demolition for a 2.5-year period, and it looked. I thought it was almost a lock that it was going to be their year. Are you aware of the WWE concussion lawsuit?
Yes, to a certain extent.
Okay. So there was this lawyer named Konstantin Kairos who tried to sort of like mimic what was going on in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
The only problem is that you have to necessarily prove that the people in the WWE were sort of like complicit in hiding concussions.
Mm-hmm.
Which is pretty hard to do
because
it wasn't necessarily known like it was in the NFL. And nobody came to them and told them this shit.
Right.
Long story short, Demolition were two of the many wrestlers who were part of that lawsuit, basically looking for a check. I say this because I happen to know one person who was in that lawsuit who just said, I meant it for a check. It's not hard to figure out if you know who I am and do a quick Google search who that is, but I'm not saying it.
I understand.
Yeah. Needless to say, those two just signed a Legends deal with WWE, meaning that I don't know how that works, but either way, they're back in the fold. Long story short, the tag team that has been chosen is the Natural Disasters, Earthquake, and Typhoon. Which I'm happy for Earthquake and his family. Earthquake has since passed away.
A long time ago, like 06 or something like that.
Something like that, yeah. His individual career is worth it. Overall career is worth it. You ever see Dark Side of the Ring from Vice?
I did not.
Okay. So Vice does this Dark Side of the Ring, like all these sort of like scandals and whatnot. And they did something with John Tenta, Earthquake. And it was basically like, how did this great guy die so soon?
Because he was 6'7", 467.
Yeah, but he wasn't a drug abuser. He wasn't like he died of cancer and whatnot. Just he met his wife in Japan, a Filipina singer. He took on her son. They had kids together, and it was just this beautiful ass story. Typhoon, I almost want to pause this and have you sort of like look up Shockmaster debut.
Okay.
You know what? I'm going to do that. All right, let's pause this here. 1 sec. Shockmaster.
That was a thing that happened.
that happened. Long story short, and you got to give the guy Fred Ottman, who played Typhoon, Shockmaster, Tugboat. Oh, listen to this. He was supposed to be Sheik Tugboat at the WrestleMania main event for WrestleMania 7.
Okay.
Hulk Hogan versus Sheik Tugboat.
Okay.
He would have been a Persian sympathizer after being somebody who liked to
tugboats.
Yeah, I don't know.
Interesting. WWE 1980s, everybody.
Yeah. Early 90s was even worse.
Or early 90s.
Yeah. I should have recorded your response or your reaction to watching that because you never saw that before.
I'd never seen it before, and I was like, Sting's involved. Look, there he is.
Right? Okay, I messed that up, guys. But anyway, when they were a tag team, they were champions for 3 months, a team for 2 years. I'm happy John Tenta Earthquake is in. As a tag team.
Yeah. Is this Earthquake's first time getting in?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So he should be in as a single. And nothing against Fred Ottman, but you're not a Hall of Famer. But let me tell you who is a Hall of Famer, and I'm very happy. And this is Total Package Lex Luger. Luger's time. I
can't believe he's not in already.
No, he's not.
I said I can't believe it. Is my point.
Well, he almost. Well, I shouldn't say almost. The Four Horsemen are in, but not the version that Luger was part of. So it's Flair, Anderson, Blanchard, J.J. Dillon, the manager, and Barry Windham.
Okay.
Which, technically speaking, is the best group. Luger was not the best wrestler, but Luger looked like $1 million.
Got it.
He's Lex Luger.
Yeah.
He's now in as a single, which I think is better actually for him. When they announced it, he was getting rehab because he had some issues. He had a lot of issues. And I think I've said this before in the show where, sometimes you go as a drug or alcohol addict and then you just go right into God. Luger's that guy. But it's a lot better than the other option, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's who he is. He got paralyzed, or actually he was a quadriplegic for a little bit from a weird nerve thing in 2007. And he's been in a wheelchair mostly on as opposed to off ever since. And when they announced this, Cody Rhodes, the son of Dusty Rhodes, came to the place where he was doing his rehab with Diamond Dallas Page and told him that you're in the Hall of Fame. And it's one of those ones where the WWE Hall of Fame, it's a weird thing. It means a lot to some people. It means nothing to some who get in.
Correct.
For Luger, it meant a lot, and it was a great thing to see. Maybe this WWE run wasn't Hall of Fame worthy, but that's not how they look at everything. His overall body of work, his package, pardon the pun, is more than Hall of Fame worthy, and this is years overdue.
Yeah.
I'm very, I'm so happy for him.
Good. Yeah. Like I said, it's one of those people you asked me if I thought Lex Luger was in the WWE Hall of Fame, where I told you 20 years ago. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just in my head, I just would have presumed he was in. So
I don't know if there's going to be any more. Usually their pattern is they're going to have somebody from the African-American community because they that's what they do.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that as a negative. I'm just telling you their pattern.
That's how it works.
Yeah. So at some point, I don't know who that might be at this point.
Booker T, is he in?
Yeah, he's been long in.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, he's actually in twice.
I figured Junkyard Dog's in. She's in.
I'm sorry, what was the last one you said?
Was it Rikishi? Was that his name?
Oh, Rikishi Samoan.
Oh, never mind.
But he is in.
All right. Yeah. Kamala is in.
No.
So there may be your guy.
Yeah, that would, I interviewed him twice.
Did you? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I interviewed him twice. I'll just do a shout out. Kenny Casanova, who did the autobiography for Kamala. And he's the one who sort of helped me get my autobiography for Chavo Guerrero Sr. out. And yeah, Kamala in this case. Sorry.
Yes, two different people.
Yes. Although there was a great T-shirt after that they put out when he was still alive. It was Kamala 2020.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. he should be in.
Yeah, I mean, that's an obvious one then.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I can't think of a better one at this point.
They may. We'll find out.
Yeah, exactly. So. But yeah, so I just wanted to sort of like open up with that. And unfortunately, we have some people, we lost a lot of people.
We did. But before we got there, one other thing I did want to quickly discuss.
Oh, yeah. Go
ahead. We did have one really massive retirement, which is going to affect the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2030. It's our first person I think we really legitimately have a shot of getting in. And that's Zack. What?
I was saying, could it be first ballot?
He could be first ballot. It's all going to depend on how many people they're putting in at that point and what the offensive line backup looks like. Right. But Zack Martin of the Dallas Cowboys officially announced his retirement. Mm-hmm. So hold on, I accidentally closed what I just had open. So Zack Martin retiring from Dallas, 162 games in his career. AP first team 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. Second team twice. A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-time Pro Bowler. Mm-hmm. Just to give you an idea how good he was, he finished second for Offensive Rookie of the Year as a lineman, as a guard.
Which does not happen.
Which does not happen. Maybe the greatest guard of recent time. Martin, when you look at his Hall of Fame, again, Pro Football Reference Hall of Fame honor, not a perfect measurement, but better than a lot of the other ones I've seen, honestly, in my opinion. Yeah. It has him as the 10th greatest guard of all time. The average Hall of Fame guard has got a score on that 105. I'm sorry, it's actually up to 106 now. Zack Martin is at 97.48. So according to the Hall of Fame monitor, here are the greatest guards of all time. Bruce Matthews, Hall of Famer. Randall McDaniel, Hall of Famer. John Hanna, very much inner circle Hall of Famer. John Faneca, took too long, but Hall of Famer. Larry Allen, Hall of Famer. Larry Little, Hall of Famer. Steve Hutchinson, Hall of Famer. Jerry Kramer, also took too long, but Hall of Famer. Then we have the average Hall of Fame. Next one is Jerry Evans, who's a finalist. Mm-hmm. Zack Martin, behind him, Gene Upshaw, Will Shields, both in. Marshall Yanda, who is a finalist. Russ Grimm, Joe DeLamielleure, Gene Hickerson, all Hall of Famers, and Logan Mankins, who was a semifinalist, and Wisniewski, who was a semifinalist. So we're talking, and then Billy Shaw and Mike Munchak, and Kuchenberg's after that. Like, this is all Hall of Famer or borderline Hall of Fame people, all the way down to Kuchenberg at 66.03. Tom Mack is equal to that. He's and right in there.
Doesn't have that, God, I hate saying this, the Kuchenberg media stink.
He does not.
Yeah.
But he's going to hate, Jari Evans, technically according to this, would be the first one. But Evans is a 6-time Pro Bowler, 4-time first-team All-Pro. Martin is a 7-time first-team All-Pro, 9-time Pro Bowler. And once he gets nominated for Hall of Fame, the way this Pro Football Hall monitor works, being nominated and getting there actually raises your score. So my guess is he will end up above Jari Evans when this all is said and done. Mm-hmm. Just with everything else. But yeah, Zack Martin, legitimate, depending who's going to also retire this year. Aaron Rodgers may, unless he somehow becomes the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
But depending on who else retires, right now he's the leader.
He is not.
So. He is not. The only other official retirements we have so far are Micah Hyde and Mitch Morse. And neither of those guys
are not on the same level.
So they're not on the same level.
Yeah.
So Zack Martin right now, the leader in the clubhouse for the class of 2030. So
no, good thing to bring up. So I guess we have to go because we have a lot of deaths.
We do. Let me just say that the Beige Mistress was active again. She got Hungarian water polo player Attila Monostori, who passed away at the age of 54, participated in the 1996 Summer Olympics.
Only 54. Ugh.
Only 54. We had a few of those onlys this week for stuff.
Yeah, I'm 2 years away from that.
Yeah, well, you're not dead yet.
So you're gonna have to find. You know what? You're gonna have to find somebody to replace me, so that way, And dying here that's relevant is Kirk Buchner.
Please don't make it anytime soon. I'd appreciate that.
I'm not going to try to. My drink is not going to help, but anyway.
Yeah, well, drink to that.
Yeah, there you go.
Drinking some Japanese plum wine that I found at
every time I see Keith Richards, I feel hope.
I get it. Yeah. Okay, so let's start with a big name, and we'll come back to the biggest name for music afterwards. Let's start with Jerry Butler. So Jerry Butler, original lead singer of the Impressions, inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame back in 1991. He had 55 Billboard hits between the pop and R&B charts, including He'll Break Your Heart, Let It Be Me, Only Strong Survive. He's a member of the National Rhythm and Blues Hall of Fame back in 2025. After doing music, he actually served as a commissioner for Cook County, Illinois from 1985 through 2018.
I didn't know that.
He was, yeah. Okay. So also,
what were those years?
80. Well, technically he's a member from 86 to 94, but with the 3rd district, I guess 86 through 2018.
Okay, I just want to see if he was there with the Blues Brothers.
He just missed the Blues Brothers.
Okay, yeah, okay.
But I can tell you,
you know where I'm going with that.
I could also tell you he hated Illinois Nazis. So
doesn't.
But yeah, just one of the great R&B singers, legitimately, of all time. Yeah. Just hit after hit after hit. His last hit was 1983, duet he did with Patty Austin, In My Life. But he had hits pretty much every year, hit the chart pretty much every year from 58 to 83 before he retired. But he passed away of Parkinson's disease at the age of 85. His wife, Annette, was actually one of his backup singers. She passed away back in 2019. So anyway, heck of a musical career for Jerry Butler. All right. So Jamie Muir passed away, the percussionist for King Crimson back in the day. He passed away at the age of 79. Interesting about him is after he left King Crimson, he joined a Buddhist monastery in Scotland and then became joined on some of his former King Crimson members on some of their albums, and then retired from music permanently in 1990 and became a very well-known painter. So a heck of an
very well-known what?
Painter.
Oh, painter. Okay.
Painter. Yeah.
I was just trying to think of a Scottish monk.
Yeah, Scottish Buddhist monk.
Agnes McWang.
Sure.
Angus McWang. Sorry.
So there's actually a Tibetan Buddhist complex in Eskdalemuir in Scotland, where he was, but he passed away at the age of 79.
Okay. Sorry, I don't mean to disrespect this. It's just fascinating.
The whole story. I had to tell you his whole story because it's ridiculous. Yeah. Also passing away, another drummer from the band, The Jam, Rick Buckler. He passed away at the age of 69. Also played with the Highliners and a few others. The Jam. Who do you best know the Jam for? Probably.
Underappreciated band. They should be on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's radar. As far as we know, they're not.
They're not. Yeah. I'm trying to figure out the biggest hit they would have had in the U.S. The Jam's biggest hit would have been Around the World Spreading. Going on. No, it's UK.
I don't think they have a lot of hits in the U.S.
A town called Malice.
Yeah. Okay.
Probably the biggest one here.
I guess growing up in Canada, I think we might have heard more of them than you might have.
Yeah, it's probably true. But Town Called Malice is the biggest hit across everything for them. So, although I do like the Eaton Rifles as well. It's a good song.
I do too.
But he passed away, as I said, at the age, the second drummer of the Jam, but the longtime drummer. He passed away at the age of 69.
No, I was walking by downtown not that long ago, and apparently Paul Weller's playing one of the clubs here. So
cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of playing things, just quickly, a quick aside I wanted to say. I know we were not that excited about the Pro Football Hall of Fame class being so small, as I joked to earlier this week.
Please.
as I told you earlier this week, apparently neither is the town of Canton, because playing the Hall of Fame concert is none other than Canada's own Nickelback. So,
Sorry.
Can you imagine getting the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and they celebrate with Nickelback?
No.
Yeah. Not the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So if we go in August, I don't know if we could probably skip the concert. Although maybe I want to see him just to say I saw them. Who knows?
I saw them in what? If you saw them and didn't spit on them, then you did it wrong.
I understand. Also passed away, DJ Funk passed away at the age of 53. Pioneer ghetto house subgenre of house music. Best known probably for his Booty House Anthems albums. Have you ever heard of any of those from back in the day? Any?
I feel like I have, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, so he passed away at the age of 53. I don't know, from cancer. Also passing away, Harry Elston, a member of the Friends of Distinction, best known for Grazing the Grass is the best way I would say that.
Okay. That song. Okay, yeah, I know that song. Yeah.
Also, Love or Let Me Be Lonely, Going in Circles, among others. But Grazing the Grass, I think it's definitely the biggest hit.
Yeah, no, I know that song very well. Yeah. Okay.
So Harry Elston passed away. He was, hold on, 86 years old, Harry Elston. From the Silos, Bob Roop passed away. He was also a member of Cracker and Sparkle Horse. So he passed away at the age of 68. American jazz alto saxophone. It's actually a pretty big name for people who care about jazz sax. Bunky Green passed away at the age of 91. Got his start by the person who I suppose I could be reincarnated as, Charles Mingus, who died on the day I was born. He died January 5th, 1979, same day I was born. But he was hired by Charles Mingus originally, starting as a bass player before moving over to the saxophone. Played with Charlie Parker, a whole bunch of other people over the years. Louis Bellson, Yusef Lateef, Ira Sullivan, a whole bunch of people like that. But he passed away at the age of 91. Also passing away, guitarist for Badfinger, Joey Mullen.
Yeah, I saw that one. Yeah.
Passed away at the age of 77. Started with
one, I think.
I'm sorry?
I think he's the last one of that band. I could be mistaken, but I thought I read that.
He wrote Love is Easy and Love is Gonna Come at Last for them. Is he the last one? He left.
I might be wrong. Yeah.
How many? So let's put how many members of Badfinger are left? Members.
Sorry, I didn't mean to give you homework.
That's fine. Are still alive. I know we're out of Whalers. None. This Joey Mullen is the last one. So there you go.
I don't feel happy that I'm right about that, but anyway.
Yeah. So we're down the Badfinger, the Ramones, and Bob Marley and all the Whalers are all gone. But a lot of others still survive. But yeah, he passed away from diabetes at the age of 77. Also passing away, R&B artist Angie Stone, best known as a member of the hip-hop trio The Sequence, among others. Yeah. Her debut as a solo artist is back in 99, Black Diamond, which is where I got to know her. So I had a good friend who was very into Angie Stone. But she passed away at the age of 63. I don't see what she passed.
Yeah, it got a lot of notice on X on that one too.
Oh, she died in a she and her band members were traveling in Mercedes-Benz in Atlanta following Mardi Gras concert Mobile when it overturned and was hit by a semi-trailer.
Oh, that's how she passed away.
Yeah, she was the only one who died in the crash.
Oh, okay. I didn't even catch that.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I just saw all the RAPs. I didn't actually see how she passed. Okay.
Yeah. So she was 63. Also passed away, English punk rock guitarist Brian James, born Brian Robertson, best known as a founding member of The Damned. Also as a member of the Lords of the New Church. He passed away at the age of 70. We have a lot to get through, so I'm going to stop there with that one because I can keep going on The Damned. Robert John, American singer, best known for his #1 hit in 1979, Sad Eyes, which hit.
Shit, yeah. Sad Eyes.
Yep.
I don't know the rest.
Yeah, nobody does. But he passed away at the age of 79.
Yeah.
Chris Jasper, the other member of the Isley Brothers. So the actual Isley Brothers and the third guy. So that was Chris Jasper. After the Isley Brothers broke up, they were also a band called Isley, Jasper, and Isley. But he passed away at the age of 73. He was basically the keyboardist and mood synthesizer guy for the Isley Brothers. Also passing away, Gwen McCrae, the best known for her 1975 hit Rockin' Chair, known as the Queen of Rare Groove. So big gospel, soul, disco, and funk vocal. She's one of the most sampled artists in music. Yeah. So Lady Gaga, Cypress Hill, Mobb Deep, Avicii, a whole bunch of other people. So if you don't know who she is necessarily, you have heard her voice on a whole bunch of other people's songs.
Right.
So she passed away at the age of 81. She's active from 69 to 2012. She was in a care home. So she had a stroke, which had paralyzed the left side of her body back in 2012. So she lingered for 13 years, unfortunately. Also passing away, Jacques de Jong of the Australian glam rock pop band Hush. Do you remember Hush?
No, not at all.
But he passed away at the age of, actually, no, I don't know how old he was, but he passed away. I don't have anything for that. Also passing away, the drummer of the Easy Beats, Snowy Fleet, Gordon Henry Fleet.
Friday on my mind.
Friday on my mind. Yep.
There can't be any of them. Are there any left of the Easy Beats?
That's a good question. He was not an original member of the band. He was on a train in Australia and heard them harmonizing and was like, "Who are you guys?" And he was like, "Oh,
okay. Yeah.
Do you play any music?" And then he became a member of a rock and roll band. So
killer song. I recommend anyone just listen to that and then recognize where that was and when it was. You know?
Yeah, there's one surviving member of the Easy Beats, Harry Vanda. So he's the only one remaining. But so we still got an Easy Beat left. But he passed away, as I said, at the age of 85. Randy Brown, solo singer after leaving the group The Newcomers, had R&B hit Pin the Tail on the Donkey in 1971.
I remember that.
No, and a few others. Did You Hear It For Yourself? Can It Be Cured in a Few More Steps? Big person from R&B in the 70s, passed away at the age of 72. 3 more. Dwayne Wiggins, a guitarist and record producer and founding member of the group Tony.
Yeah. I love that song. I was actually upset to learn that they weren't all named Tony.
None of them were named Tony.
I didn't know that.
Dwayne, Timothy, and Raphael.
I did not know that until this week.
Yeah.
There was a good clip on, was it on the Goldbergs or the one that came after? It was Tim Meadows who said, like, I was supposed to be I was part of that. It was Tony. I'm not doing it justice, but
well, Tony, Ed, and Eddie had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 #1 hits on the R&B charts between 1988 and 1991, plus another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 other top 10 R&B hits between 1988 and 1997.
Well, those two could sort of like get up with Tony Braxton and Tony Basil and Tony Sneal.
True. Well, Tony Bennett.
Tony. Sorry.
Tony Stark. Is he no longer with us either? Anyway, But he actually
out of this before I offend somebody again.
After left Tony, well, he was still with Tony, but he eventually became. You remember the weekends at DL with DL Hughley's television show. He was the band leader for them, but he passed.
Okay.
On that show, but he passed away at the age of
64, I think.
74 or 64.
Yeah.
Then two others I have to do. Two pretty big names. David Johansen passed away, better known as Buster Poindexter.
No. Not better known as Buster.
I'm messing with you.
Sorry. Buster Poindexter. If I can, just my own personal thing. So me in real time, I fucking hated that guy.
I understand.
As Buster Poindexter. Seemed like a wanker. And then as I'm learning about his music and then going backwards, I must have been like a late teen, like, wait a minute. This guy is with the New York Dolls.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sort of like learning stuff as a kid, born in 72, exploring my punk rock love in the late 80s.
Mm-hmm.
I still remember how it blew my mind that it was the same guy. And it's kind of, I felt so bad because like I hated that guy. And then at the same time, the last week I've been downloading like on Spotify, like all the Buster Poindexter stuff, the albums that he did.
Mm-hmm.
But that's sort of like where my age sort of like shows against you, my younger counterpart.
Yeah, I have to say, like, there are New York Dolls still alive, only because New York Dolls had 473 members at one point or another. But he's the last member of what I call the main lineup of Johnny Thunder, Sylvain, Jerry Nolan, no relation.
Never got in the hall.
Arthur Kane and David Johansen, and he outlived all the others except for Sylvain by a lot. Yeah. Johnny Thunders died at like 38. Jerry Nolan, I think, was 45. Arthur Kane was in his early 50s. But yeah, so the New York Dolls are amazing. They've been nominated multiple times to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
Have never gotten in. That's a musical excellence one that I think they need, or early influence at this point.
Yeah.
With the proto-punk and where punk came out of with the New York Dolls and how important they are. They're not quite as important as, I would say, development music as Kraftwerk, but they're contemporaries of Kraftwerk, and things kind of they're also important with the way things went. But anyway, David Johansen was 75 years old.
Well, yeah, and I think also too, I mean, just if you're following the history of what music is,
mm-hmm.
and hear Personality Crisis and that whole album, and then learn that it was 73?
73, yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't fit.
Yeah.
You know.
Not at all. Like, it's almost like Marty McFly playing guitar at the prom, and how weird it is compared with everything else going on.
This is your cousin. What was his name? Shit.
I can't remember right now.
Marvin Berry. Listen to this.
Yeah. Right. Also, he was also in one of my favorite movies of all time, Scrooge, as a Ghost of Christmas Past.
I did love Scrooge. Yeah.
It's a highly underrated Christmas movie.
I did love that. That was also one of those things, like realizing that was the same guy.
Yeah. So yeah, God rest in peace, David Johansen, 75 years old. Yep. And then the last music one we have to talk about, R&B absolute legend, Roberta Flack, passed away at the age of 88. The first time I saw her face, Killing Me Softly, his song, and Feel Like Making Love are three of the biggest R&B standards there are.
Yeah, they are. Actually, when she passed away, like, I felt stupid. I thought she already died. Because we haven't heard her name in, God, I don't know how long. The last time
she did win a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Grammys back in 2020.
Oh, did you? Okay, yeah, because I don't watch the Grammys anymore. So, like, I actually thought, I think a lot of people thought that the last time she was ever sort of like relevant was when the Fugees
brought up Killing Me Softly.
Yeah.
Is it? Well, Where's the Love is also her, isn't it?
I don't know.
The original People Killing People Dead. I think it's Roberta Flack too.
Oh, that I don't know. Having said that, I mean, like that didn't get as much.
Yeah.
It's
her. That's her and Donny Hathaway originally, and that won Grammy Award for Best Pop Performance by a Duo back in 1972.
So, yeah, no, that's an absolute legend. Not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, not on the radar. Probably will never get in.
She's been on my radar with stuff I can't imagine she's getting in though at this point.
No.
Absolute utter music legend. Yeah, just one of those people. Like we're getting the age, man, where everybody who was an adult when we were kids are now dying of old age. I hate saying that, but like
I'm way older than you, motherfucker.
Fine, I get it, but that's where we are. So So anyway, Roberta Flack, rest in peace.
Yeah. So. Well, before we get to some more deaths, we had a few other things that are Hall of Fame related to look at. Dwight Howard is his number is going to be retired by the Orlando Magic, and I think it's really interesting. Howard is a fascinating character for the Basketball Hall of Fame. Personally, I think he got screwed when he was not part of the 75th anniversary team.
Probably.
Yeah. Saying that, he's also somebody who, when you look at what he's done, God, I hate saying this word, sexually.
Yes.
It's like, Like the first half of Dwight Howard's career was incredible. The second half is a vagabond who pissed teammates off and did not respond to the changing game of basketball. Fair?
Yeah. He did win a championship in 2020 with the COVID
years, yeah, in the COVID year, but yeah.
So interestingly, he will be the Magic have retired three numbers. This will be the third number retired by the Magic. One is Dwight Howard, who ended up on the won championship with the Lakers. Another is Shaquille O'Neal, who won championship with the Lakers. And the third, just by the way, I hate it, is the sixth man. That's number 6 is retired. I hate it.
Yeah.
Stupid like that.
Yeah.
Only ever worn by one person, which is Patrick Ewing, when he played the 01-02 season there, because Grant Hill was wearing his normal 30.
That he was with the Magic.
Yeah.
I forgot all about that.
So at least that number was retired. That was worn by another Hall of Famer, at least, even if it was only for one season.
So saying that, this is technically an elevator up, and I do this show with. I know Evan and I used to do the elevator up, elevator down, which is so now morphed into another show. Saying that, elevator up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100% elevator up.
Can I morph into something that is Chris and I, we don't talk music, but you and I had an elevator up in a weird way, and he's now plummeted. So with everything that's sort of like going on with Diddy, a lot of people said like, holy shit, Kanye was right. And then he goes and wears a swastika. What the fuck? Help me out here, Evan. Like, what the hell?
You want me to help you with what to do with him wearing a swastika?
No, I don't know what to say. Like,
he's a fucking idiot.
Doing? It's like people, you were sort of like this weirdo, and like, then there was a bigger weirdo. And then he said, like, hold my beer. I'm now going to like promote a swastika.
He's just using it as, the international Hindu symbol of peace. So,
which, yeah,
I don't know. who knows what goes on in that man's head.
I don't think he knows what goes on in his head.
It's one of those monkeys clamping cymbals. So.
And then here's another one. Drake. Well, if people didn't understand what Kendrick was saying at the Super Bowl, Conan O'Brien made it very simple at the Oscars. Did you watch the Oscars?
Just the very end.
Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, so
yeah, just the very end with the longest Oscar speech of all time.
Oh, which one was that?
Adrian Brody.
Okay, yeah. I was sort of like half doing this, half whatever. Conan comes out and says at the half point, says, here we are at the half point of the Oscars, which is where Kendrick Lamar is going to come out and call Drake a pedophile.
That's pretty funny.
Which, it is. So I just sort of like imagine my mom still being alive who would have watched the Oscars and like, who is Drake? And then going on her computer. Oh.
Yeah. This is he's dead already situation.
Right, yeah. It's like, oh my fucking God.
So
interestingly, or coincidentally, I'm going to the Kendrick Lamar concert at Lumen Field. I plan to be the oldest white man there.
Okay.
He's not like us. She's not like us. You're not like us. They're not like us. No.
Fair enough. That's good.
No, but I really am going to that concert. I'm planning to be the oldest fucking white dude there.
Cool. Go for it.
Planning to it. I just might be.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Should we do the last people who died, or should we?
Go ahead. I have one other thing I do want to put in here. I didn't bring up.
Go ahead. Yeah.
So the longest serving member of the Boston sports constellation, Brad Marchand, was traded during the trade deadline coming up here.
I thought about you when that happened.
Yeah. And I was hoping that he got traded like right as the trade deadline was ending. So I was hoping he was going to make it through. The Bruins team had been competing. They'd been in the 7th, 8th spot most of the year. And then they lost like 11 out of 12 games. And it just brought them all the way down to the fact where they're still above the Sabres, but not above anybody else, which is not a place to be in that division in hockey, because the Sabres are the only franchise with a longer playoff drought than the Jets. So
whoa, New York Jets.
Yeah, not Winnipeg. Sorry,
not my Winnipeg Jets.
I apologize. Winnipeg Jets are a wonderful team, and I hope they do well this year. But it was the end of an era. The whole thing is sad in many ways. I mean, he was not at his peak here, and he may still re-sign with the team this offseason. They are doing contract negotiations with him, and they just weren't going anywhere. So he may still resign as a free agent at the end of the year. But I do have to say, as a Bruins fan, having our incredible season 2 years ago end at the hands of the Florida Panthers, and then last season end at the hand of the Florida Panthers, who I hate with almost every fiber of my being, Matthew Tkachuk can go sit on something sharp often. He's now have the 3 most annoying players in hockey all on the same team. Wait,
who?
Tkachuk. I can't think of his name. It's just out of my head. Tkachuk. I should have had this ahead of time right in front of me. Right. It's Sam Bennett. I fucking hate Sam Bennett.
Oh, Reinhardt?
No, Sam Bennett.
Okay, yeah.
I hate. He's worse than Tkachuk. Tkachuk's Sam Bennett is, both those guys are cheap shot artists who whine a lot, and that's my least favorite type of person. Mm-hmm. Right? The Draymond Greens of the world, who whine and moan about everything, but at the same time are the same people who, Joel Embiid's another one, who constantly is pulling on people, like pulling on Hartenstein's leg in the playoffs last year. Mm-hmm. And then talk I hate those type of people. And they got 2 of them. And now they got Marchand. So it's going to be the most annoying line in the history of hockey.
Marchand too was actually shitting on the Kachucks too during the Four Cups.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so
it's fascinating that they're all on the same team.
They're all teammates. I wish them badly. Marchand can do whatever he wants, but the rest of that team, I hope they
go Winnipeg. Go.
Yeah, sure. I'm still to go Winnipeg. I'm never going to root for Florida freaking Panthers.
I like it.
But I just have to say Godspeed to the Rat. I hope he comes back. By the way, do you know who the longest tenured Boston athlete is now?
Like in all teams?
In all the 4 major sports.
Oh shit. Okay. All right. So it can't be basketball.
It's not bad. Jaylen Brown is 5th. To give you an idea, Jaylen Brown has been in Boston the 5th. It's and there are no Red Sox.
It can't be any Patriots at this point.
The next 2, 3, and 4 are all Patriots. It's David Andrews, the center, Joe Cardona, the long snapper, and Jonathan Jones, our cornerback, although he's a free agent.
I wouldn't even thought that. Okay, so it's not a Patriot. It's not a Celtic. So that leaves
the Bruins.
It's not Marchand. He's gone. Preachy's not there.
Nope. Bergeron's retired.
Yeah. I don't know who.
David Pastrnak.
I always forget about that guy.
Who's only 28 years old, is now the longest tenured Boston athlete, which has to be the youngest, longest tenured Boston athlete of my life at this point. Because recently we had, just think 5 years ago, we had Brady, Bergeron, Krejci, Chara, like all these guys around forever. But now Pastrnak, believe it or not, started with the Bruins in 2014. It's
weird seeing the Bruins as sellers.
It is. They have the most wins this millennium of any team in hockey.
And they can still make the playoffs too.
They can, but I don't.
They're not that far off.
That is true. And they did look good.
I've got Ottawa versus Detroit here. I mean, it's not that impossible.
That's true. And they did look good against the Lightning the other day.
Yeah.
They won that 4-0. And the new guys are interesting. Everyone else got traded. I feel Charlie Coyle was another one of my favorites, local kid. But Weymouth's own Charlie Coyle. But the other folks, Brazeau and Carlo and all those guys, that cost them doing business. But yeah, I'm going to miss Brad Marchand. I hope he's back.
Should we go to, I guess, the last group of those we lost?
Yeah. Do we have anything else you want to talk about first? You have anything else before we get to this? Because we're going to end on.
I was gonna I can save this for another time because I've been holding on this for a month of Evan's reaction to Hulk Hogan's lies.
Oh yeah, let's do that another time. Okay, let's start with football. So we had Craig Wolfley, member of the Super Bowl. I take that back. He was not a member. He was a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers from 1980 to 89 and the Vikings from 90 to 91. 153 games in the NFL. Also a member of Syracuse's all-century football team back in 1999. He hosted a show on 970 ESPN, was a color analyst for the Steelers. He passed away at the age of 66. Also in 1981, after his second year in the NFL, he competed in the World's Strongest Man competition and finished 5th, which is pretty good.
I was 6.
Yeah, I mean, I was 3 years old. So anyway, his brother, Ron Wolfley, of course, was running back for the Cardinals and was also their color analyst for a while. Also passing away, a member of the College Football Hall of Fame, Joe Fusco, who won 4 NAIA division championships in 76, 77, 88, and 89 with Westminster. Westminster, Pennsylvania. Also was a guard who played for them as an undergrad. 2-time NAIA Division II Coach of the Year. Member, as I said, inducted the College Football Hall of Fame back in 2001. Joe Fusco passed away at the age of 87. Also, Meg Collier, the running back on the Super Bowl 10 winning Pittsburgh Steelers. That's the guy from the Steelers I was thinking of. He passed away at the age of 71. After retiring, was a manager at a grocery store in Hagerstown, Maryland, believe it or not. Also a member of the 1971 Grey Cup champion Calgary Stampeders, Terry Wilson, halfback and defensive back, passed away at the age of 83. From hockey, long-time play-by-play announcer for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Mike Lang, passed away at the age of 76. Member of was the play-by-play announcer from 76 through 2021, won the NHL's Outstanding Broadcaster Award, which is called the Foster Hewitt Memorial Award, back in 2001. Very much the voice of the Penguins. Whenever you think of the Penguin highlights, that was Mike Lang. Also passing away, former Boston Bruin and Philadelphia Flyer, paying from 57 to 71, and definitely better known than his brother, Dick Cherry, passed away at the age of 7. Don Cherry's brother. There you go. From baseball, the oldest living baseball player since 2022, Art Shalleck, passed away at the age of 100. He played for the Yankees in July 16th of 51, last for the Orioles in September of 55. Member of the 53 World Series winning Yankees. Also, there's another guy who passed away at the age of 98. So we lost a couple of real old guys this week. But he, as I said, passed away at the age of 100. I don't know who the oldest living baseball player is right now. But hold on, let's see. Oldest living baseball player is Bill Greason at 100. And then Bobby Shantz, who's a name I actually know. He is 99.
Cy Young winner, I believe, in 57.
Yeah, that's correct. Yep, Bobby Shantz. So Bill Greason's the only one over 100, born September 3rd of 1924. Looking at any other names I know on this list going down. Vern Law. Joe Morgan is the 13th oldest. Different Joe Morgan, not that Joe Morgan.
I thought Joe Morgan was
different Joe Morgan.
Okay, yeah.
A bunch of people I don't necessarily know. Anyway, okay. Also passing away from baseball, the former owner of the Cleveland Guardians, or the current owner of the Cleveland Guardians. He just passed away. Larry Dolan passed away at the age of 94. So he was there. He's owned the team from bought the Cleveland Indians in 2000 from Richard Jacobs. So he owned it from 2000 to 2025. Grew up in Cleveland Heights. And the founder of the regional sports network, FanDuel Sports Network, Great Lakes. But he passed away at the age of 94.
Okay.
Also passing away, one-time All-Star and World Series champion with the 66 Baltimore Orioles, Eddie Fisher. He passed away at the age of 88. Played for the Giants, White Sox, Orioles, Indians, Angels, White Sox again, and Cardinals between 59 and 73. Was an All-Star at 65 with the White Sox. Right-handed pitcher, passed away at the age of 88. And finally, one from a younger person that you're not going to like, passed away at the age of 53. Scott Sauerbeck, the reliever who played for the Pirates, Red Sox, Indians, and Athletics. I remember him best for the Red Sox as we traded for him not once but twice in the 2003 season. So we traded for him and Mike Gonzalez originally for Anastasio Martinez and Brandon Lyon. And then the Pirates saw an injury to Lyon and it got rescinded. So the Red Sox then traded for Sauerbeck and Jeff Suppan in exchange for Freddie Sanchez, who was a longtime Pirate during his career.
I remember Sanchez, yeah.
But yeah, Scott Sauerbeck died of a heart attack at only the age of 53. Okay, from tennis, not a Hall of Famer for some reason, I'm not sure why, but multiple-time Grand Slam winner, Australian Fred Stoll, passed away at the age of 86, won the 65 French and the 66 U.S. Open, also got to the finals of Australian in 64 and 65, and Wimbledon in 63, 64, and 65.
Probably one of those people who just slipped through the cracks for the tennis.
Yeah. Also, but they also love doubles. He won He won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 Grand Slams in either doubles or mixed doubles. So he won the Australian doubles 3 times and the mixed doubles twice, the French twice, and made the mixed doubles final 3 times, Wimbledon twice, and won the mixed doubles 3 times, the U.S. Open 3 times, and the U.S. mixed twice. So, I'm sorry, he was inducted. I missed that. He was inducted to the International Tennis Hall of Fame.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It was like, how does he not in there? Because usually they have a thing, but I missed that. But again, also I actually knew him first for his commentary. I used to be big into watching tennis when I was a younger kid. He loved Michael Chang.
Yeah, I was gonna say like when you said like when you were a kid, it had to be related to Michael Chang, from what I know about.
I love Michael Chang. He got to everything, and that was my thing. I was always gonna get to everything. But Fred Stoll was one of the commentators on ESPN for quite a while. He passed away at the age of 86. American sports commentator Al Troutwig, very, very well-known man. Mostly worked for the Knicks and Rangers and did play-by-play. He passed away at the age of 68. Also did the USA Network's coverage of the National Hockey League in the 1980s.
I remember that very well, yeah.
He actually interviewed a water fountain once on that, if I remember correctly. Also would sponsor plugs for
Gretzky.
He also would sponsor plugs for WWF shows when they went to were on USA Network back in the day. 3 Olympians. Jan Johnson of the 1972 Munich Games. She won a bronze in the pole vault. She passed away at the age of, he passed away at the age of 74. Mabel Landry, who represented the U.S. in the long jump and sprints at the 1952 Olympics in Helsinki, actually set the Olympic record for the long jump that Olympic with 19 feet 3 1/4 inches. She held that Olympic record for 7 minutes and 36 seconds as the person 2 after her, Yvette Williams, out jumped her. So the record had been 19 feet 3 1/4 inches. It went to 20 feet 2 1/2 inches, almost a full foot longer. But she
held it.
What?
Still held it.
Still held it. But she passed away at the age of 92 after a long battle with cancer. And then one of the oldest living Olympians, I think she may be the oldest living Olympian, Yvonne Courtet of France, passed away at the age of 104.
Holy shit.
She's the oldest. She was the oldest living Olympian after Felix Sienra, who was a sailor in the 48 games, died in 2023. The oldest current living Olympian is Rhoda Wertele of Canada, who is a skier. So she's 103.
Mm-hmm.
Her sister lived to 97, by the way. Both of them represented the entire U.S. entire Canadian women's ski team in 1948.
Okay, we're not your country yet.
Give it time, I guess. I don't know. Don't even get me started.
Soon, apparently.
Yeah, don't even get me started with that one. I still love the idea that your entire country would be one state and that each of the individual provinces wouldn't get to Quebec.
Having said that, if that happens and if Trump's right, no one's gonna fuck with our hockey team.
Oh, that's entirely true. I mean,
I'm trying here, buddy. I'm trying.
You may actually also maybe get some more hockey teams if you have the American dollar.
then finally we're gonna win the Stanley Cup.
Yes, Quebec City and Hamilton. Here we come. Okay.
Well done.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
I'm trying to here. One other person who I think is very important who passed away, Anne-Marie Hochhalter, passed away at the age of 43. She was one of the people shot during the Columbine school massacre.
Oh.
She was shot in the spine and was paralyzed from then on. So she was shot at the age of 17 and became a big anti-gun activist, but she passed away from complications of her injuries all these years later at the age of 43. Her mom actually had been suffering from depression, mental health issues right before the shooting, ended up killing herself 6 months after the shooting. So that shooting did a whole bunch of stuff. Her mom went to a pawn shop and said, "Hey, can I look at your revolver?" And took the revolver and shot herself like in the pawn shop. So
it was that long ago that somebody who was a victim of that died at 43. Sorry.
43 now, yeah. She was born in 1981, December of 81.
Okay. I didn't realize it was that long ago.
Yep. So absolutely crazy. Speaking unfortunately of committing suicide, Pamela Bach passed away at the age of 61. Former spouse of David Hasselhoff was on Baywatch with him, and it was a psychologist in Sirens. Was in the A series of Celebrity Big Brother in the UK. She also Rumblefish, Route 66, a few other things. She passed away at the age of 61 after shooting herself in the head, unfortunately. Do you ever watch Pee-wee's Playhouse?
No.
Oh, well, never mind. This won't mean anything to you then. Lynn Marie Stewart, the most beautiful woman in Puppet Land from the Pee-wee Herman Show and Pee-wee's Playhouse. She passed away at the age of 78. Also, remember the Groundlings, the breakthrough sketch comedy group from the 1970s?
Well, I know what that is, yeah.
Yep. She was met both Paul Rubens and Phil Hartman there. Also was in American Graffiti.
I'm sure I've seen her then.
Yeah, she was one of those people who's a lot of things. She played like 17 different nurses on MASH at one point or another.
I definitely saw her then.
She was a whole bunch of characters. Laverne and Shirley.
What's the actress's name?
Her name was Lynn Marie Stewart.
Okay, I'll make sure that I sort of check that out. Yeah, I'm still stuck on the how you did a MASH actor that I didn't know. But anyway,
a couple other things you may probably know her from. Just by the way, she was Maya Rudolph's mom in Bridesmaids. If you ever saw Bridesmaids.
Yeah. Okay.
And the other thing, did you ever watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
No, but everyone tells me that I need to.
So she's Charlie's mom in It's Always Funny.
Okay. All right.
She passed away at the age of 70. Just a few more here. George Lowe, best known to me as in a very important part of my 20s, the voice of Space Ghost in Space Ghost Coast to Coast. Passed away at the age of 67. I watched every single episode of Space Ghost Coast to Coast and The Brat Show. I love that show altogether. But yeah, he passed away of a heart surgery, stuff having to do with heart surgery. Passed away at the age of 67. They did a whole bunch of other stuff too, but I would think of them Space Ghost first and foremost.
Heard about it? Never seen it.
Oh, you're missing out. That was a fantastically campy cartoon show. It was amazing. It was almost Mystery Science Theater in a cartoon without the movies. It's like just riff tracks.
You just sold me when you just said Mystery Science Theater.
Yeah, I love that show. And who knows? I haven't watched it in 15 years, so it may not actually be any good. But I just loved it when it was out. So, Stanley Jaffe, who was an American film producer, best known for his work with, among other movies, Fatal Attraction, The Accused, and Kramer versus Kramer, for which he won an Academy Award. He passed away at the age of 84. A very minor part of the Harry Potter universe, Simon Fisher Becker, passed away at the age of 63, best known as the Fat Friar Ghost, who flies through the castle.
I'll take your word for it. I've never seen any Harry Potter stuff.
Yeah, the books are actually not bad. The movies are not good because there's so much that gets left out, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Because they're remaking it as a TV series as much as J.K. Rowling doesn't need any more money. I think it would work better as a TV series. So, and then two others I want to go through. Michelle Trachtenberg passed away at the age of 39.
Yeah.
Buffy, Adventures of Pete and Pete, Harriet the Spy.
For me, Eurotrip, Inspector Gadget.
Yeah. So a lot of stuff. Gossip Girl. Yeah, Ice Princess. That was another one that my wife is a big fan of. She had there's some bad movies my wife likes, and Ice Princess is one of them. But yeah, just
9, right? Like that's just so young.
Yeah. Her death was not being treated as suspicious.
Oh.
But there was no autopsy because her family are Orthodox Jews, and there was no suspicion of foul play or criminality. So she had a liver transplant recently.
Well, that's sort of like why I thought maybe she was just sick. I didn't look into more of that. I know who we're gonna like finish with. I kind of did, but no. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So but yeah, she passed away, like I said, at only age of 39. So just a whole bunch of stuff. Anyway, but again, we have to end this whole thing with someone who's near and dear to us in our other halls of fame. And we talk about the USA Hall of Fame a lot.
But you know what, though, Evan? Not just that. Just in general.
In general, true, but just in terms of our site here, we also have the fictitious athlete and fictitious rock and roll Hall of Fame,
which will get ramped up back in 2026 because we're too busy
other stuff. So, while Gene Hackman will never be in the fictitious rock and roll Hall of Fame, his role in Hoosiers,
he is in for that,
is already in and is one of the most iconic coaches. If you had a coach rap Mount Rushmore, is he on it? Norman Dale?
A fictional coach? Yeah.
Fictional coaches?
Yeah, he's got the Lincoln spot.
Probably. That's probably true.
Yeah.
But
like for you though, obviously we're going to be talking about Gene Hackman. We're about 2 weeks or a week and a half as we're recording this away from the Oscars.
Mm-hmm.
And Morgan Freeman did this amazing bit for that, like, because that was again only 5 days, I guess, after
his body was found.
Oh shit!
That whole thing. We'll get into that at the end. That whole thing is ridiculous, but we'll get to that later.
We will. Gene Hackman for me, again, just showing my age. First time I was sort of like aware of him in real time would have been when I was 11 watching Uncommon Valor, which was sort of like the precursor to the Vietnam movies that would come later. And that was my starting point. And then going backwards point, forward point, everything.
Yeah. So for me, I think of him. First time I knew who he was Lex Luthor in Superman. But the movie of his, the old movie of his, because there's other ones we're going to get to that I've watched a ton. But the old movie of his I've probably watched the most, believe it or not, is the original Poseidon Adventure.
I love that movie.
That movie is fantastic. The remake was not good. But
I only lasted like 30 minutes on that. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, the remake also has what's his name in it, who is one of my least liked.
I don't know. I only got 30.
Richard Dreyfuss. I just freaking hate Richard Dreyfuss in almost everything.
Whoa!
Except for Jaws.
Whoa! Okay, that's a separate podcast, buddy.
Yeah, we watched rewatched Close Encounters of the Third Kind the other day. They have that whole meme on the internet. Who's a hero in a movie who's actually a villain? Richard Dreyfuss's character in Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Let me just give a quick replay of what he does. He's a lineman who goes out. The aliens go overhead. He gets 1.5 his face. Everything goes rattled. He gets home. Basically says to his wife what happened. He can't think about it. He just sees the symbol of the Devil's Tower. World B, by the way, coming up in a couple of weeks here. In his mind, basically leaves his wife, leaves his kid, breaks their house, goes crazy, builds a model of it in his house, leaves to go to Wyoming, where he meets up with the mother of a kid who disappeared, makes out with her, runs away from his family, and then gets on a spaceship into outer space without telling his wife or kids at all.
I forgot about the make out part.
Yeah, they kissed. And I'm just like, what is going on with you? He does nothing I mean, I understand he's weird, but like one of the biggest movie villains who's supposed to be a good guy of all time is his character. And I got it. So anyway, let's go back to the much better actor, Gene Hackman.
Oh, I'm so stuck in this. God damn it.
Yeah, but again, Poseidon Adventure for me.
Rogo, Rogo, make sure you get everybody out. Rogo. Sorry.
Yeah. That and Shelley Winters. The one actually I always mention to that is Roddy McDowell falling into the water and somehow the water explodes. I thought that was interesting in that movie. But his run from like Mississippi Burning on, because Mississippi Burning is an incredible film you never want to watch again. He is fantastic in that movie. I love Postcards from the Edge. Unforgiven is just awesome. Speaking that line though, I don't deserve to die this way, just makes me feel the way he actually passed away. The Firm, Geronimo, Wyatt Earp, the highly underrated The Quick and the Dead, which has the greatest ever.
How many times have we talked about that movie?
I love The Quick and the Dead. The greatest ever acting job by a tournament bracket is The Quick and the Dead.
It's true. It's so true.
Crimson Tide is awesome.
Unforgiven.
Yeah, Unforgiven. Oh, I started with Unforgiven, but Unforgiven, The Firm, Geronimo, Wyatt Earp, Quick and the Dead, Crimson Tide, Get Shorty. Then he goes from that to The Birdcage, which is another incredible film.
Shit, I forgot all about that.
Like just that run of films. Those are films in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in a row. Then he went through some things that aren't quite as good for a little bit. Enemy of the State, I loved. Then he was coach again, Jimmy McGinty in The Replacements, The Mexican, Behind Enemy Lines, The Royal Tenenbaums, Runaway Jury, and then his last movie, believe it or not, was Welcome to Mooseport.
We talked about that because, like, when he passed away, the first thing I thought of is a show that you and I did, where we were trying to remember what the last movie he did, and I was wrong. You were right, but yeah.
So the last thing he was ever in, he was in voice of a documentary for We the Marines and Unknown Flag Raisers of Iwo Jima. But last time he appeared on screen was in himself as an episode of Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives in 2008, which is hilarious. But again, we haven't even mentioned probably the movie that he's best known for, which is The French Connection.
Popeye Doyle.
Popeye Doyle, which is where, by the way, Popeye's chicken is named after Popeye Doyle and not Popeye.
What, really?
Yes.
Seriously?
100%.
Well, okay. I'm going to have to tell my wife that because that's her favorite fried chicken.
Yeah, it's real great fried chicken. We have one up here, and usually I'm one of the few white people who's there to pick up my chicken.
Damn, okay. I had no idea.
Yep. But, I mean, The Conversation, another great movie. A Bridge Too Far. But, like, just Reds. You said Uncommon Vow already. Just
that guy for me, Evan. If he's in the movie, I'm going to give it a shot, even if it looks like something I don't want to see.
Agreed. And I think, and this was, I think The Ringer did this maybe even half decade ago at this point, that they said that Gene Hackman was our greatest living actor at that point. I can't remember who died, and they said Gene Hackman is now undisputably has the title. With Gene Hackman dead, it may go to Clint Eastwood at this point, although I don't know how much of an actor he is.
No, but still living.
Still living. I bet you also got De Niro. You got
Clint is a god. Robert De Niro to me, Clint is a god to me.
Yeah.
Robert De Niro is a god, although I sort of like shit on him on the previous show.
Well, he and Al Pacino have become caricatures of themselves at this point.
Fine, but yeah.
Denzel. I mean, Denzel's young.
Relatively speaking, Hackman's one of those people who I might have said this on a show with you. I might not have, because I can't remember when we started doing this stuff. Hackman's death hit me harder than I thought, much like Bowie's death hit me harder than I thought.
I agree. Bowie's death hit me way harder than anticipated.
Yeah. So, when I'm looking at, well, do we really want to talk about like how everything sort of ended for him? And I guess
I think we should.
Okay. Can I?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So with my mom passing away, and if you watch this from the beginning, from how she passed away from Alzheimer's for like God knows how long, and from what we understand, and jump in here because you might know something that I don't know. Gene was 95, I believe, and his wife was 30 years younger.
Yeah, just about. They met when he was at a fitness club when he was 60. I think she was 28.
Okay. So from what I understand, she passed away a week before. And
on the 11th of February.
Yeah. Gene had severe Alzheimer's, which nobody knew because it's not our business. Bluntly. And I remember it was like 6-7 months ago, maybe longer. Last time there was a picture that came out of Gene, and people were saying, "Oh my God, it looks old." Well, it's 94.
94 years old. Yeah, that was back in the fall. I remember that.
Yeah. So I was just happy he's standing up.
No kidding.
That's the way I was looking at it. Like, yeah, he looks. Yeah, he's 94, 95. Well, what do you expect him to look like? But I guess what we didn't know is what he was suffering from. And why would we? Because he retired. Okay, you said the last movie he did was Malcolm Mooseport. When was that?
05, 20 years ago.
Okay, so you gotta assume that he's been going through God knows what for a long time. Well, she's been doing what she could do to take care of him, and she passes away, I guess, suddenly.
The weird thing with this whole thing is she had heart issue from a hantavirus.
Okay.
Which is something you get from mouse droppings, but there are no mouse droppings in the house. There were some out in they had like a studio shed sort of.
Okay.
Off the backyard. There were some there. It's weird how she would have gotten a hantavirus, but anyway, continue.
Okay, so she gets that, passes away at 64?
Yeah, 63, 64, somewhere around there.
Okay, yeah. Well, she's doing all this caregiving for Gene Hackman, and here's this poor guy who has no idea what's going on. And my heart's breaking for him in his last week. What he's thinking here.
Well, I mean, the thing my wife said is the thing that makes it so terrible. It's entirely possible she died. He found her, forgot about it, and then kept finding her over and over again.
I never even thought about that, but yeah.
Yeah, and she's like, just the possibility that could have happened. And here's the other thing. Again, for those who don't know, I work in life insurance and financial advising and end-of-life planning and stuff along that lines. I do a lot of that stuff. Yeah. She was taking care of him. And we have a lot of situations in which the person who is the caregiver doesn't actually take care of themselves because they're so busy caring for the person they're taking care of, right? I can't go to my doctor appointment because I got to take care of him, right? So, but the other thing is Hackman has 3 kids. She died on the 11th. He was found, he had an abnormal thing on his pacemaker on the 18th, and a worker coming by was worried they weren't answering the door, and finally got someone to go check on that. Right? Where were the kids? Like, just nothing from anyone for weeks. It's one of those things, like when you're doing the end of life planning, it's just kind of crazy to me what can happen with any of this stuff.
Well, yeah, not only that. I mean, like, it's one thing, like, okay, the kids are calling because, like, what is it? New Mexico, Arizona? I don't know which.
Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Santa Fe, okay. I can wrap my head around they're not in that area. Okay.
Not in the area, yeah. But
okay. You're not reaching your, again, just going through this not that long ago. If I can't reach my dad, which happened not that long ago, I remember calling my brother and we're talking to each other. You know what I mean? So
yeah, it just the whole thing stinks. And then the dog died of dehydration because he was locked in a kennel.
Yeah, so, because like God knows what he was thinking at that point.
Yeah, I mean, who knows?
I didn't even think about what your wife said, but like that.
Yeah, that was her first thought. Like, oh my God, imagine if he found her and then forgot and went about his day forgetting about it and found her again, and just like over and over and over again, going through the grief of finding her for the first time.
Yeah, he was in no position to even call anybody.
No,
they said he had advanced.
He advanced, but I mean, the thing was, he got hit by a car while riding a bicycle back in 2012. So he had just bumps and bruises. Mm-hmm. So at least was still active and doing stuff into his 80s. I don't know how far along he was dementia-wise at that point, but he was still active and doing stuff into his 80s at least.
You know who I thought about was Sean Connery. Because the last few years of his life, we didn't know that he had dementia. Because I think the last time he was ever sort of like shown anywhere was watching, I want to say the US Open, I might be wrong, but I know it was tennis related. And he's probably one of those people. It's like he doesn't want to seem weak.
Of course he can't.
Yeah. And I'm
Clint Eastwood can't be weak either.
God damn it, he can't. Sorry, that's my guy.
Fair enough. I get it. I'm just saying, Clint Eastwood, John Wayne. There's certain people you cannot appear to be weak. And Connery was among those people.
But Gene Hackman was just this great actor who could do anything.
He could sort of the intelligent, like everyman who wasn't particularly. Gene Hackman was not a handsome man by Hollywood standards in particular, right? But clearly brighter. That's why he works so well as Lex Luthor. He was just clearly brighter than everybody else and had that thing.
What couldn't he play, right? He could play tough. He could play weak. He could play evil. He could play good.
Mm-hmm.
What couldn't he do?
Yeah.
And he was so unassuming. He was so not pompous, which is what we think of Hollywood people, right? I mean, I know I do.
A lot of times, yeah.
And man, I think after this I might do a personal Gene Hackman film festival.
You go for it. I mean, it's great. That's a great thing you can do. I mean, I don't say you necessarily need to do Welcome Mooseport. I do have to say I did watch Parts of Mississippi Burning again for the first time since college.
I watched Uncommon Valor. Because that was my personal introduction as an 11-year-old. So yeah,
and I will watch The Quick and the Dead anytime it's on TV.
I agree with what you said. Like, I can't believe I never thought of that. The greatest tournament film of all time.
It's the greatest tournament film of all time. There's no question about it. And just the whole
number 2.
The whole thing with him and English Bob in that movie, played by the late great.
Okay, but we're talking about Unforgiven though.
That's Unforgiven. I'm sorry, I messed up my movies. I apologize. Yes, the Quick and the Dead. English Bob is Unforgiven. I'm trying to think of the other guy from Quick and the Dead, who's the charlatan. I can't think of it right now, but I mean, a young Leo DiCaprio, Sharon Stone, a young Russell Crowe. I can't think of the other guy's name.
I can see the face. I'm blanking myself.
Lance Henriksen as Ace Hanlon. That's the one.
Was it Keith David?
Keith David, yep. Sergeant Cantrell. Woody Strode is in that movie.
What?
Yep, it's Charlie Moonlight.
How did I know that?
Yeah, Woody Strode. Roberts Blossom as Doc Wallace, one of those guys in everything. Like Tobin Bell as Dog Kelly. Mm-hmm. He gives him 3-second head start in that movie.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
But yeah, Kevin Conway, like a whole bunch of really, really great people. But yeah, Woody Strode is in that movie. Now I know who Woody Strode is because of our stuff. I should go back and watch it.
Nice.
Again, but yeah, that movie is great. Crimson Tide is great. The Birdcage is great. Enemy of the State is one of my favorites.
It's not shit.
Yeah.
If it's shit, it's not his fault.
Enemy of the State is another one of my favorite little, it's kind of a silly movie, but I've always enjoyed that one.
Crimson Tide, I gotta watch that one again.
Crimson Tide, yeah. Geronimo was pretty good too. I always liked Geronimo.
Mm-hmm.
The Firm, of course, where I mentioned all these, but yeah. I should go watch ones I haven't seen, like Misunderstood or Split Decisions.
I've never seen The Conversation. I have to see that.
That's on our list, actually, because we still have our project of all the movies that have been nominated for Best Picture.
The one that you're doing with your wife.
Yeah, we've been doing it for, almost 20 years now, and we kind of stopped after we had kids, so we're only in the hundreds there.
God damn you kids.
I know, the Conversation is one. We're going to be able to watch a few more of them as we go forward here. Now the kids will actually watch them.
Well,
anyway.
I don't think we can sort of finish anything better than Gene Hackman.
Just Godspeed to a great actor.
Absolutely. So with that, wherever you are, wherever you may be, make today count because it never comes again. Tally ho.
Take care.